On board, ladies and gentlemen, my esteemed followers. This morning we shall be discussing database first approach using the latest Visual Studio IDEs. So, if we've been following with trends, we discover that from Visual Studio 2019 to date, Ado.NET Entity Data Model has been missing. And this is the tool primarily that have been used to bring our existing database entities and models into our projects. So the question before us is how do we do it right now with the latest Visual Studios from 2019 to 2022? Our projects will not always be code first approach. As developers, with time you come across old solutions that need revamping, that needs re-engineering. You are not expected to approach it from the code first approach. You are expected to bring the database, the entity, into the solution before you can start that engineering process. So it's a challenge that most of us are not aware of how to navigate. And that is the essence of this project. So as you can see on our screen as we move on, till 2019, 2017, I mean, we usually have Ado.NET, as you can see on the screen right now. We usually have Ado.NET data model. When you go to data of your programming language, from there you navigate, you supply the parameters to your database. Behold, the data, the entity, everything is moved to your application. But the reality is not this as we speak right now. So Ado.NET entity data model has been replaced with entity framework called Power Tools, which is now part of the reverse engineering process in Visual Studio. So when you install the latest Visual Studio, by default, this tool, this functionality, this extension does not come into play. So you have to manually download and install. As you can see from the screen link above, you can see the download link. Once you go to that site, you will see to download as you are seeing. You install and restart your Visual Studio. After doing that, you will now be able to see the extension tool to use. So you can see before installation, when you install your your Visual Studio IDE from 2019, these are the tools you will see, the extension that you want to use. You can't see beyond this. But after that installation, like we can see on the board, you will see this entity called Power Tool as I marked on the screen. So when you go through reverse engineering process, you will now be able to achieve your expectation. So without wasting much time, let's visit a solution to quickly demonstrate this. So thank you as you pay attention to this. All right, let me go to my Visual Studio environment. Okay, this Visual Studio environment, let's assume we want to use a API. Let's use API template to demonstrate this. Let's say DB first, DB, DB first, DB first, DB first project. So we move ahead. Let's quickly. This is not expected to take time. Let's see how we can navigate this. We use Noctem Evolution 6.0. We don't need this for now. Okay. Right. Let's create it quickly. All right. The project is created. So as I said before, if you have a look at the extensions here, okay, I think we have installed this. I downloaded, installed. That's why I'm seeing this functionality right now. Before, you won't see it there. Just like I showed here before, you won't see it. Yes, you won't see it. You won't see it just the same way it is here. I have installed my own. That's why I can see it right now. So let's move on. This is my project. I want to bring existing database into. So I go to this entity framework called Power 2, reverse engineering. I click on this, and I'm expected to provide the database connection. At first, when you are coming, you won't see anything here. If I had to provide database connection, you click here, add connection. I have the client is Microsoft SQL Server client. I have a server. My server is a local. Let me use the local host. Local host. And what am I using connection? I'm using a SA. Use it's my credentials. Then I have to tick this trust server. Otherwise, you won't be able to see anything. So when you do that, you try to load. If you don't pick this, it might not be able to give you anything. You can see it's throwing error because on trusted certificate that was provided during installation. So you pick the trusted. When you open it, you see exactly what you are looking at. So in my case, this is the database I'm interested in, employee registration. Then I move ahead. Let's say I can test connection. The connection succeeded. Okay. If I click this, the connection will be used. So you can now decide to choose the entity framework called version you are looking at. Let's use 6, which is a non-stable. And I move ahead. Let's see what it will bring for us at this point. Okay, you can see it's bringing table, the DBO. I'm interested in the tables. If you have schema and all of them, they will equally come out. You can pick them. So by default, it's creating a context for you. This is the context name. This namespace. If you have to change, you change it. We are expecting a model. So the what to generate is asking you, are you interested in only the DB context or the entity, or you are interested in both the DB context and the entity? As known by all, DB context will expose the abstraction of database functionalities. The entities are the objects that the tables you are looking at. So in our case, we will need the two. So the next thing we need to pick is use of data annotation in case we want to validate some inputs, some feeds. So we have to include connection string because this connection string, there will be need for us to move it to app setting and the rest when we go into the project. So let's say okay and see what happens. So it's being generated. As we can see on the screen, app setting has been added. NT framework call setting has been added. So yes, you can see right now, this is the DB context. This is the DB context we need to use. It's inheriting from a DB context. So this is the constructor. This is exactly what we have when you do code first by yourself, where you have to define the DB context, you have to the app setting for connection string. So you can see this is the database. These are the entities that form the database that we're looking at. You can see them. These are the tables. They are here. Then you can see the connection string. This connection string, we could decide to move it to the app setting environment. You can see app setting and there's no connection string. We can put it here and come to the program to come and add or to make reference to the connection string before we can use it in our project. So this is basically how we bring it to our environment. Once you take that connection string to your app setting, you edit your program, the CS, you discover that we're as good as code first. We'll now be able to use all of them. If you want to use interface and concrete classes, you will be able to have access to it at this point. So basically, this is just what I want us to look at. I believe we can move on from here. Otherwise, our next short tutorial, I will extend this so that we can take full advantage of it. So thank you very much for your time. We appreciate. God bless.